seems lawmakers are now more preoccupied with security matters as the search for a lasting solution to the widespread insecurity continues. New chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission was not allowed to just take a bow and go when he appeared before the Senate. The House of Representatives approved President Buhari's nomination of service chiefs. This is the Hallowed Chambers. I am Tijesu Adiri. The insecurity in the land is giving lawmakers headache, and they continue to scratch their heads as the threat level increases and a solution seems to be far away. But it seems the change of guards in Nigeria's security architecture may be a glimmer of hope in the gloomy situation that has soaked almost all parts of the country. The Senate now waits for the report from its Joint Committee on Army, Navy and Air Force to be submitted and subsequently determined if the yet-to-be-confirmed service chiefs will be given a clean bill of health.
I have had extensive experience as a commissioned officer of the Nigerian Army, and I've had experiences in both operational and, of course, instructional and field experiences. And I hope that as we interact together, you will see more of what we could deliver in a manner that Nigerians will be happy within the security space.
My mission is to provide effective leadership for the Nigerian Army through capacity building in a timely manner as part of a joint force. The mission is founded on those cardinal points: repositioning to attain readiness, professional standing as a duty to country, capacity to defeat all adversaries, and capability development in a joint environment.
I will not let the Nigerian people down, and I will do my best in conjunction with my colleagues to ensure that the security situation in this country is a thing of the past. On this note, I have a vision to enhance and sustain critical air power capabilities required for joint force employment in pursuit of national security imperatives.
For the House of Representatives, the service chiefs are good to go as the security challenges in the country requires a new solution and practicable approach. The confirmation of the service chiefs was based on the report submitted on the floor of the lower legislative house by Jimmy Benson, whose committee was saddled with the responsibility of screening the newly appointed officers.
Expect them to, within the shortest possible time, make Nigeria safe again. We're going through horrendous and ludicrous times. The yearnings of Nigerians have been heard. Mr. President has listened. They wanted a change of service chiefs. That has been done. And the same service chiefs have been confirmed by the House of Representatives. So their reputation precedes them. They are men of high quality, professional and pedigree. They've been in the theater. Some of them have served together. Some of them are together in NDA, same NDA course. So the synergy is inbuilt.
The President of the Senate refused to bow to pressure from some lawmakers who wanted the new EFCC helmsman to take a bow and go.
Clearly, he's a very, very brilliant young man. Within a couple of minutes, he's been able to showcase himself. I will plead with my colleagues who share in my belief that ordinarily should take a bow and go. But I think they should be given a chance, Mr. President, for him to further showcase himself.
Please, I want us to allow this young man to address Nigerians and even the international community. So let's at least exhaust some of these issues that Nigerians want to hear.
ABDULRASHEED BAWA did not appear fazed by the barrage of questions thrown at him. One after another, he answered the questions and showed his mettle as the right man for the job.
You have mentioned in your CV that you headed investigations from the former Minister of Petroleum to other companies, and according to your CV, you have recovered so many properties here in Nigeria and indeed abroad. Now, I think you have the opportunity now to educate us or to tell us what usually happens in accordance with the EFCC laws. What happens to such properties?
I want you to tell this distinguished Senate what you will be doing differently to ensure that what is recovered by EFCC in terms of funding, in terms of cash, actually reflect what is remitted into the government coffers.
When my appointment was announced last Tuesday, an elderly man advised me, and he said, Malam Bawa, you are now 40 years old. Even if you succeed, unlike any of your predecessors, and serve 2 terms, you are still going to be 48. And he reminded me that you will still be too young. And he said that I have a very long future ahead of me.
But I want to just give you a little motherly advice. Because one, this is an appointment. The shoes you are going to be filling is a big shoe. Temptations will come. People who are not even your age, they fall in. I believe that's your wife there.
Yes.
Pray for your husband very well. I'll pray for you too.
Thank you very much.
Because we want to see a lot of youth like you showing the other youths around Nigeria that if you want to get to the top, you don't have to be destructive.
After the break, I will sit down with Suleiman Abubakar Gumi, representing Gumi Bukuyum Federal Constituency of Zamfara State, to talk more about the frightening trend of insecurity, especially the talks of amnesty for bandits. My guest is also in the front line of these talks with bandits. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
So we have all been witnesses to the high level of insecurity in the country, and now your caucus, the PDP, Zamfara PDP caucus in the National Assembly, is calling for amnesty for these bandits. Is this really the solution? Are you sure this won't be like giving an incentive to these bandits?
Well, you see, before we can understand the situation going on or find solution to problems, we need to really understand what is going on, what is really the root cause. If we understand all the basics, I think would find a better solution to the problem. You see, the primary aim of every government is to secure lives and properties. And negotiations, dialogue, you understand, is the answer to every solution, every problem. Now look at kinetic means that we've been using on Boko Haram, on the men people in the southeast, all the agitations. Where is it taking us to? It's not taking us. It's dragging longer than it's supposed to. Look at Boko Haram. We're looking at over 10 years of killings daily. And every conflict ends with dialogue. When you're negotiating terms of surrender, it's a negotiation. It's a dialogue. You arrive at a treaty, at an accord. This is what you hope to achieve at the end of every war. So why not explore the non-kinetic means? If it doesn't work, then you go to kinetic means.
So what is their grievance actually? Since you're mentioning that there is something behind it, what are these reasons?
This is something that has taken years to come together to what we have now. We created a monster over time. You see, you and I, every Nigerian has seen 13-year-olds, sometimes 10-year-olds rearing cattle on the street. Have we ever asked, why is he not in school? Now, 5-10 years down the line, That same young man is somewhere in the bush, you know, not educated, vulnerable to any incentive
But
by
is
criminals.
this not sort of making excuses for them?
When you don't take to your responsibilities, then you have to own it first. Then you can now look at solutions. When you don't educate people, it's the responsibility of the government to educate. Everyone is the entitlement of every child. And we leave these people in the forest, in the bush, rearing cattle with no any form of education. What do you expect when they grow up with nothing to do? You know, you see the issue, cattle rustling, banditry, kidnappings. These have roots in different directions. Now look at how the banditry started, or the kidnappings. At first, they used sticks and knives to kidnap. Gradually, they started borrowing guns from gun runners around town. Then they bought their own guns, and they went into full-time kidnappings and banditry. You see, it's a progression. Now, what we have in Zamfara, there are two stories to it. We have the bandits, and we have the normal Fulani people that have been stereotyped, have been, you know, they are being maimed and killed when they come to town because they are being stereotyped as Fulani people. And they are arming themselves to protect themselves from such harm, even from the bandits in the forest, because the government is not there to protect them and their belongings. And when they go to town, they are being prosecuted, so they have to protect themselves. I'm not making excuses for them, you understand? But this is what I learned directly from them.
Why do they feel that, you know, killing other people, innocent people, is the answer, or is the only way they can get government attention?
You see, that's as I'm telling you, it's a complex situation. Now, look at what happened in just yesterday in Edo State, where I think there was an issue with someone with a Hausa community. And just yesterday, the whole community is being raised. The house is burnt. Some of them killed. According to the audio of the person recording it, they killed them. They used machete to kill them. And one person was still alive. You know, that is, I don't know, this is the situation we're in this country. They kill you, you attack. And one thing we learned from the Fulanis, they don't attack first. When you touch them, they retaliate. It's always
And when you say when you touch them, what do you really mean?
You know, like in Zamfara, we have these volunteer groups. We call the vigilantes. They normally attack them when they come to town because of the crisis, the banditry. So, and they are being profiled as all bandits. All Fulanis are bandits, according to what they see. So if they see a Fulani man in the market, they maim him, they kill. They sometimes cut the limbs, put on the body, and burn the person alive. You know, and these are the kind of things they are seeing, the persecutions they are getting in towns. So they retreated back to the bush. Okay, we can't come to the market. You can't come to the forest. You see, if there is no justice, if our justice system is not working properly, then you are bound to have this kind of retaliations. People, you kill one and they take revenge like that continuously, and it grows bigger and bigger. And these are a set of people that all their lives are not mixed with people. They're in isolation, so to say. And when you kill them without them knowing the reason why you are killing them, then you are asking for trouble from them. You know, they used to be peaceful people.
We're talking about lives. These people have dealt with lives. You know, people have lost loved ones to them. And this still remains a crime, even if they have grievances.
The problem is both sides. They have lost loved ones too. You see, there's in Niger State, a bomb was dropped in one of their hamlets. It killed women, children, old men that are within. What is their crime? If one of their sons is a kidnapper or whatever, what is the crime of the old man and the kids?
Are there no better ways to put forward their grievances?
That's the problem. You see, do you know that organizations like IPCR are supposed to even find ways to understand where there's going to be possible conflict? And there are places where you and I can go and lay our complaints. Even people in the cities don't even know these places. What more people that are not educated, that are living in the forest? They don't have a mouthpiece. They don't even know where to go and lay their complaints. You know, so there's a lot of government complacency, in not taking its own primary responsibility. And this is what is bringing all these problems. You see, our governor, when he came into power, that was the major problem of Zamfara State, because people were dying in numbers. They attack a village, 200 people there. That's a huge number. But so with that on his plate, the first thing he did is to engage them. Look, come, what's your problem? And they sat and he listened to them and he understood their problem. And he said, okay, this is a simple solution. Let's see how we can resolve it. Within 100 days, there was no more tens of thousands of people dying. Now we are just having sporadic cases here and there, So this is what dialogue can do. But, you say carrot and stick, right? Or carrot and dagger. When you offer the carrot, you have to find a way to maintain that carrot, because these are people that have lost their cattle, lost their livelihoods, lost their loved ones, their homes and everything. You have to rehabilitate them to maintain that peace treaty you're having with them. Now, how do you do that? It takes a lot of resources that government alone can do. So as a good gesture to what he is doing, the government can give them amnesty, rehabilitate them, give them incentives to reintegrate back into the society. And that's what Amnesty will do.
So how comes we're not talking about providing succor to the victims of these bandits? Why are we so fixed on
You see, you have to stop the bleeding first. Just like doctors, when you come to a doctor with a bleeding wound, what does he do? Stop the bleeding first. When you stop the bleeding, then you can look at other problems, right? This is what Amnesty would do. That's why if you have 1,000 orphans today because of the past crisis, you don't want to have another 1,000 before you solve the problem. Even if you are going to kinetic means, you want to fight them and they will be killed, the army would lose lives, everybody would. But if you draw a line, just like what is happening in Zamfara, the whole process is now on standstill. And that's all it takes. So you see, we can heal the country through dialogue, through reconciliation.
Well, Honorable, that's a lot to be said, but
yes.
We'll have to go on a short break right now. We'll be right back. Before we went on this break, we had been talking about amnesty for bandits. Do you agree with the Minister of Defense urging these villagers to, stand and fight these bandits instead of running away for safety?
That is like encouraging people to start fighting, and the consequences is the problem. Anarchy can set in. When people arm themselves and fight whoever they want to fight, when the fight ends, then who disarms them? You are going to distribute weapons all over the country. Criminals will take advantage of that, and the country can go into chaos. So I don't think he had a very good thought by saying that. Let the government do the needful first. The unofficial means of discussing with them has taken place. Right now, everybody knows that there's something going on. The bandits are even talking to, some people. Why is the government not taking advantage of that? Discuss with them. Find out, solve the problem without using kinetic force.
Since you have been communicating with these bandits, what exactly have you been telling them?
I've been part of an entourage, and I go there as an observer to see how I can contribute my own quota and see how we can change these things. And the first thing we do there is to listen to them. We're here to listen to you. What's your problem? And the first thing each and every camp is talking about is justice. We want justice. We don't want to be killed extrajudicially. Look, we want, if you get a criminal, a bandit or a kidnapper, take him to the court. Let the court decide the fate. Nobody would say anything. But once you get someone, either innocent or guilty, you cut off the limbs and burn the body without going through the justice system, then you're asking for trouble. When the army comes to a village because they are pressed to act, they come to any hamlet they see in the bush and drop a bomb and kill all the civilians there, innocent people. Now, if one child survives there, you have created one extra enemy, someone that has no reason to live, someone that wants to take revenge on that bomb you are dropping doesn't say army alone. It says the rest of the world is killing us. That means you are creating monsters. And those boys will look for who would help them, and you say, okay, look, you've lost your parents, you've lost everyone, come, join us so that we fight together. He will pick arms. And because he believes the same person that dropped that bomb is coming to kill him too. And that's why we're saying a chunk of the bandits, the kidnappers we have, the Fulanis in the bush, are fighting for self-preservation. A chunk of them are the actual bandits. And even within themselves, within the camps, you have the bandits do attack these ones. And in fact, that's how cattle rustling started. This is from reliable information. Those bandits would rustle cattle from ordinary Fulani folks in the bush that live on their cattle. They will rustle their cattle, take them from point A to B. Then other people, not Fulanis, would load them on trucks and transfer them to other parts of the country and sell them and make money out of theft. Now, this family that is left without means of livelihood, and they have young ones, boys, nothing to do in the bush, no education, nothing. What happens? They form a group too. Okay, you from a village, they form a group. And what do? They go into rustling. At first, before they started arming themselves, they were hiring guns. They were hiring guns from who knows? Sometimes I'm sure we've heard stories where armed robbers or kidnappers are caught and they say they borrowed guns from police. They'll borrow, pay. Sometimes we've seen several videos of DSP, Gimba or something like that saying...
Honorable, how did we get here? How did this get to this point?
Our negligence. Everyone is complicit. Everyone is guilty of that. We neglected them. We allowed them to grow from being simple cattle herders to the armed herdsmen. It took years in formation, and nothing was done along the way. And nothing is being done apart from using kinetic force to even increase their resolve, to arm themselves better to face the challenge, And that is what we want. Let the cycle of violence stop. If Zamfara can have peace within 100 days through dialogue, then I believe before the end of this regime, they can bring peace to the country through dialogue.
Well, there are claims that most of these bandits are not even Nigerians. They are foreigners who found their way into our forest through our porous borders. Is this true?
There's a migratory route from Cameroon through Nigeria all the way to the southwest. They normally move. And every time they are moving, there's always bound to be farmer-herder conflict. They sleep over in a farm, the cattle eat at night, and they leave. And that's trouble. Sometimes they are being caught. Sometimes the farmers act out of anger. They kill the Fulanis and sometimes kill the cattle or cut them away, or herd them away. And when that thing happens and the government doesn't intervene, 5-10 years later, they come for revenge, and you'll be shouting, herders, killer headsmen. But we didn't do what we were supposed to do when a particular incident happened. That's mostly the case.
But if eventually the government grants amnesty to these bandits, what is the assurance that this will not worsen the situation and give rise to fresh groups?
You see, if there is justice in the land, there won't be agitations. Even if there are agitations, they will be channeled through the right quarters. The National Assembly, we have a committee responsible for that. You don't know that. Because somebody is not doing their work very well. To educate people, look, if you have a grievance, this is where you need to go and report, so that they can be addressed. Nobody is doing that. I have a grievance, I don't know where to go to. The next thing is to go to police. And sometimes if you go to police, you'd rather even not go at the end of the day. So let us do what we are supposed to do. There will not be agitations. Look, fairness, equity is very important. We are in this country together. Everyone has a right. Now, if you're sharing anything you're sharing, you should consider every tribe, every religion, we should, in fact, we have to rethink how we live. Because once there's no equity, there will be agitations. If agitations are not addressed, there's bound to be violence. So what do we need to do is to go back to the drawing board. Let's hold judges accountable. Let's hold police. Let's hold army. Let's hold every political office holder accountable.
That's all on our program this week. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media handles for fresh updates from the National Assembly. Also follow me on Twitter to continue the conversation. My handle is @Tijesu Adeoye TVC. Thank you for watching. See you next time.